When we enter session 4, our present activation statement is, I restore my inner balance with my compassionate attention. I restore my inner balance with my compassionate attention. Remember the demonstration of me standing up with my eyes closed and falling forward and going into an experience of severe discomfort because I could not feel I was out of balance. In other words, without feeling, I went out of balance. Now I want to begin working with that state of imbalance through my compassionate attention, which requires that I look at what the word compassion means. Compassion. Compassion is not sympathy. Oh, I'm here to help you out because I'm a compassionate person. I'm here to sympathize with what you're going through because I'm a compassionate person. I'm very concerned about you, you know, because I'm a compassionate person. Well, none of those things are compassion. That's called projection. Usually if I'm running around trying to help everybody, it's because I'm feeling so helpless. And I'm projecting my helplessness on the world around me. And instead of dealing with that emotional condition within myself, I'm trying to fix it by cleaning the mirror. So compassion is something different. Compassion is built the knowing that I am responsible for my thoughts, words, and deeds. And that my thoughts, words, and deeds are what is initiating my experience. And that I'm always standing right in the center of the consequences of my thoughts, words, and deeds everywhere I go. And when I know that, then I know that about you too. Then I'm not going to interfere with what you're going through. Because by interfering, what I'm saying is, interfering is to go into fear. What I'm saying is that what you do to me, and therefore I better control what you're doing on some level so that I don't get affected by it. That's why I normally go and give advice. But if I know that I am responsible for my own thoughts, words, and deeds, and my thoughts, words, and deeds are what is manifesting the experience that I'm in, then I know too that the greatest suffering that is happening in the world is not the drama. The drama is not the suffering. Pain, the anger, the grief, that's not the suffering going on in the world. The suffering is not knowing that. Because if I don't know I'm responsible for my own experience, there's not much I can do about it then. And then I think that freedom is to have no responsibility. I just want no responsibility so I can be free. If I just had no responsibilities, I would be free. That's where I go. Freedom and responsibility are the same word. When I'm fully responsible, when I take full responsibility for my experience, I'm free. The moment I wait for you to change so that I can be at peace, it's over. It's not going to happen. Because I'm going to continually reflect on you what I think needs to be changed. What's supposed to be changed about myself, my own experience on you. So it's never going to happen. It's a catch-22. So compassion is not a doing. When I know that I'm responsible for my own thoughts, words, and deeds, and that these are manifesting my experience, and I know the same for you, then when you're going through something, I know that what you're going through is a teaching for you. And if it's really rough, that's what it's going to take to bring attention to what's going on with you. It's going to bring attention to your level of responsibility, whether you want to look for that or not. And so while you go through it, I'm happy to be with you. I'm happy to be with you while you go through that. If you ask for my assistance, I can share my experience, but I will not give you my advice if you don't ask for it. That's sympathy, concern, fear, judgment, assumption, interpretation. Compassion is I will be with you while you go through that. You can come to me and I will allow you to pass on. Come, pass on. Compassion. And I will not interfere with what's going on with you. I will honor your journey and I will honor your right to figure it out yourself. But I cannot be that way with you unless I can be that way with myself. Okay, so unless I can be that way with myself. When we have pain and discomfort, by example, through being indoctrinated into our own reactive behavior, we always react to pain and discomfort. Always. So if I'm in pain and discomfort, the mind goes wrong, bad, stop, and I'll go to somebody and try and get them to stop it. Stop it, sedate it, drug it, cut it out, because I believe something wrong is happening. But actually what pain and discomfort is, especially pain in the body, it's the body going, please come back in here. Really, you're supposed to live in here while you're here and be part of running this beautiful organic machinery that you, the life, is what makes it alive. So we have pain in our body, and what we do is, instead of responding to it and going, let me feel this and be with it, then I'll take a tab and go, let me numb that. Or go to somebody that has no clue what's going on and say, what do I do about this? And they'll go, well, I think we have a name for that because we don't know what it is, so we named it. And that name, we have a whole lot of medication that goes with that name. Don't mind the side effects. We have a medication for the side effects as well. Now, it's important to go to a doctor if you have serious symptoms. If I get run over by a car, please don't take me to an acupuncturist. Don't do Reiki on me, for goodness sake. Just take me to the doctor. Doctors are very good with physical trauma. But on a basic, everyday basis, we have pains and discomforts. And you'll notice your automatic response is to flee from them when it's really asking for my compassionate attention. So when we start connecting our breathing for 15 minutes twice a day, we are going to be staying in our body. And that's a whole new experience. So you may come to my house once a week for a cup of tea, every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 4, and do that for 6 years, and assume that you know my house because you use the bathroom and the kitchen, hanging out in the garden. You know my house. But if I ask you to house sit for me, I'm going away for a while, won't you stay in my house? Within 24 hours of staying in my house, you are going to notice things about that house that you never saw before. Cracks in the corner, this going on here, that picture I've never seen before, because you're now staying in the house. It's the same when we start our connected breathing. An aspect of our awareness is now going to stay in the body. And by staying in the body, we are going to become aware of the discomfort that's been chasing us out the body. And depending on our level of awareness grows according to the pathway of awareness. So it's going to go from physical to mental to emotional or body awareness. So initially my awareness may be purely on a physical level because I've been physically transfixed by the world. That's my main means of perceiving things. Physical. And if that's the case, then my emotional discomfort as it starts to come up will come up as physical sensations in my body. That's the only way I can start to perceive them. They might come up as aches, cramps, all sorts of things that are starting to come into my awareness. Now, if that happens, and I now go and start taking medication to numb them, I'm defeating the purpose here. What they're coming up for is because I'm agreeing to give them my compassionate attention, just to be with it. I don't know if you've ever tried that. Because normally what we do is when we start getting involved in alternative healings and things, then we get all these visualizations to do. Imagine your pain as a piece of knotted barbed wire. And you want to turn it into feathers so that it can float away. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? Don't go there. Don't have an agenda. Don't think you know what you've got to do. Surrender and being sure. What you can do and what's real is you can be with that pain. It's calling the attention and give it attention. Give it compassionate attention. In other words, I will be with you and I will not interfere with you anymore. Because when I have a pain or something going in my body and I run and take medication, immediately I'm going to pop a painkiller just because my head's sore, I'm interfering. I'm going into fear about what's happening. And nothing can come of interference. So what it's asking me to do is just to be with what's going on in my body. Now, when we get upset, this is where we can start working with this. When we get upset and I say, what is it I'm feeling? When I ask myself the question, am I feeling fear? Am I feeling anger? Am I feeling sad, grief? Once I can feel that feeling, I will also be able to feel where that is in the body. It'll be somewhere in the body. When I'm angry, there will be heat. There will be a tightening of something. When I'm afraid, there will be a tightening of something. There will be a feeling, a sensation in the body, a physical sensation. Because that's the first way I'm able to perceive what that energy is on a physical level. So what I can do to now really start anchoring my awareness back into my body instead of projecting it out in the world is to respond consciously by giving it my compassionate attention and bringing it back into balance. It doesn't mean I must do something with my fear. It doesn't mean I must do something with my anger or with my grief. Enough doing something with it and doing something because of it. Just be with it in a compassionate way. Allow it to be there and sit with it. So that's really the feel it to heal it process beginning to start. In other words, unless I feel how out of balance I am when I'm falling forward, I cannot bring myself back into balance. Just feeling it, not fiddling with it, not entering any profound visualizations about it, not interfering with it and going and doing things to it. Just being with it and feeling it automatically starts bringing it back into balance. And it won't come back into balance according to our dictates. In fact, it may initially start becoming what we think of as worse. It's not getting worse. I'm just becoming more aware of it now. By placing my attention on it, my awareness of it grows. And as my awareness grows, it may feel like the pain's getting worse. No, actually, as I'm staying in my body, I'm feeling the full extent of it. I just never felt it fully before because I don't live in the body. Close the eyes. Some of you are already doing that. That's okay. That's also okay. Close the eyes and connect the breathing. So let's put our attention on that upset we had, that we can now allow ourselves to call a messenger. And as we went into the process of responding consciously to that experience, we asked ourselves some questions. And one of the questions was, how does that make me feel? Am I angry? Am I afraid? Am I sad? Remember that feeling that we had, because it's really the feeling that drew our attention to the fact that we're upset. It's really the feeling that's grabbing our attention. So when we remember that feeling, where do we feel that in the body? When we feel angry or sad or afraid, where in the body am I actually feeling that? And when I discover where I'm actually feeling it in my body, it's quite a profound thing, because now I see that what I thought was happening outside of me is actually inside of me. And all I do is I place my compassionate attention upon that part of my body and just be with that. Allow myself to feel it. And by allowing myself to feel it, I'm entering a porthole into emotional body awareness. I'm awakening my ability to begin feeling again. My pain and discomfort is an invitation to re-enter my heart by beginning to feel again. Come back. Open the eyes. So what we are doing now is we're traveling along the pathway of awareness. We really are on the doorstep of the emotional, because we're starting to allow ourselves to feel. Even though we might be accessing it through the physical sensations in our body, by allowing ourselves to feel them, we awaken feeling the emotional body. We're starting to exercise emotional body awareness. So we've started moving along the pathway of awareness back into our emotional body. Actually, we're reversing our movement along the pathway of awareness. We've gone from the physical by identifying those memory messengers. We've gone into the mental by starting to seek information from those memories. And we've gone right to the doorstep of the emotional by allowing us to feel where those memories are actually lodged within our body as physical sensations.